The morning sun streamed through the towering glass windows of Caldwell Innovations, casting a golden glow across the sleek, modern lobby of the New York City headquarters. The building, a masterpiece of steel and glass, stood as a testament to Ethan Caldwell's meteoric rise. At 38, the white American CEO had built a multi-billion-dollar tech empire from nothing, his name synonymous with innovation and ambition. Dressed in a tailored navy suit, Ethan stepped out of his private elevator on the top floor, his polished shoes clicking against the marble tiles. His mind was already on the day's agenda, a critical board meeting to finalize the acquisition of a rival AI startup. This move would cement his company's dominance in the industry. His assistant, Claire Thompson, a sharp woman with a tablet perpetually in hand, greeted him as the elevator doors parted. "Good morning, Mr. Caldwell," she said, her voice crisp. "The board is assembled in the conference room. Also, the new cleaning company started today. There have been some complaints about disruptions in the work environment." Ethan nodded absently, adjusting his cufflinks. "Tell the board I'll be there in 10 minutes. As for the cleaning staff, ensure they're briefed on our protocols. I don't want distractions today." His tone was firm but not unkind, reflecting the disciplined focus that had propelled him from a working-class kid in Oakwood, Ohio, to the pinnacle of corporate America. As he crossed the expansive lobby, Ethan's thoughts were consumed by the acquisition. The deal was nearly complete, a triumph that would add another feather to his already illustrious cap. His penthouse overlooking Central Park, his invitations to elite galas, and the respect of industry titans were markers of a life meticulously planned and executed. Everything was perfect, exactly as he'd envisioned, until it wasn't. He froze mid-step, his breath catching in his throat. A woman in a gray cleaning uniform was kneeling on the polished marble floor, her hands methodically scrubbing with a cloth. Her dark hair was pulled into a tight ponytail, and though her face was turned downward, Ethan would know her anywhere. Maya Johnson, his Maya. The Black American woman had been in his world 20 years ago in their small hometown. Though etched with the lines of time, her features still carried the gentle strength he remembered. The high cheekbones, the deep brown eyes that had once looked at him with unwavering love. Time seemed to collapse. Memories flooded back. Summer nights under the stars in Oakwood, their laughter echoing by the old willow tree near the high school, whispered promises of forever as they planned a future together. They'd been so young, 18, in love, with dreams bigger than their small town could hold. But then came the scholarship that took Ethan to Stanford, the tearful goodbye when he promised to write, and the silence that followed when Maya's letters stopped. He'd returned to Oakwood after his first year, only to find her gone, her mother saying she'd left town. The pain of that loss had driven him to bury himself in ambition, building Caldwell Innovations to fill the void she left. Now, here she was, cleaning the floors of his empire. The irony was almost cruel. Ethan's heart pounded as he watched her, oblivious to his presence, her movements precise and practiced. She wore the budget commercial cleaning services logo, a stark contrast to the custom Italian suit he wore, a symbol of the chasm between their worlds. "Claire," Ethan said, his voice unsteady, catching his assistant off guard as she lingered nearby. "Cancel the board meeting. Something urgent has come up." Claire's eyes widened. Ethan Caldwell never rescheduled board meetings, but she nodded. "Of course, sir. I'll inform them." She hesitated, sensing his distraction. "Is everything all right?" "Yes," he lied, his gaze fixed on Maya. "Handle it." As Claire walked away, Ethan took a deep breath, smoothing his tie as if to steady himself. He approached Maya, his steps slow, almost reverent. She was wiping down a spot near the reception desk, her focus unbroken until his shadow fell over her. Sensing someone, she looked up, and their eyes met. For a fleeting moment, recognition sparked in her gaze, followed by a flash of shock, then something deeper. Pain, perhaps, or resignation. She quickly lowered her eyes, resuming her work with renewed intensity. "Maya," Ethan said softly, his voice catching on her name. She stiffened, her hands pausing on the cloth. "I'm almost finished here, sir," she said, her tone formal, professional, as if addressing a stranger. "I won't be in your way much longer." The words hit like a punch. "Sir." The distance in her voice was a wall he hadn't anticipated. Up close, he could see the fine lines around her eyes, the weariness in her posture, and the same fire in her expression that had drawn him to her all those years ago. "Maya, it's me. Ethan." Slowly, she stood, facing him. Her uniform was plain, but she carried herself with a quiet dignity. "I know who you are, Mr. Caldwell," she said, her voice controlled. "Everyone in this building does." The formality stung, but her eyes, those deep, soulful eyes, betrayed a flicker of emotion. Ethan said, "I can't believe it's you." His voice barely above a whisper. "After all these years, 20 years, she said flatly, her gaze steady but guarded. "It's been 20 years. A young supervisor from the cleaning company approached, sensing tension. "Is there a problem, Ms. Johnson? Mr. Caldwell?" Maya shook her head quickly. "No problem. Just finishing up." She glanced at Ethan, her expression unreadable. "Excuse me, I have work to do." Ethan wanted to reach out, stop her, and ask 1,000 questions. What happened? Why are you here? Do you remember us? But her demeanor held him back. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice softer now. "After your shift, maybe?" She hesitated, her hands tightening on the cleaning cloth. For a moment, he thought she'd refuse, but then she nodded slightly. "I get off at 6. There's a coffee shop across the street. I'll be there." Relief flooded through him, a spark of hope igniting in his chest. "I'll be there, Maya. Thank you." She nodded curtly and turned back to her work, leaving Ethan alone in his grand lobby. The towering architecture, the polished floors, and the wealth it all represented felt hollow now, like an empty shell compared to the woman who had just walked away. As he watched her, Ethan knew one thing with absolute certainty. The universe had given him a second chance, and he would not let it slip away. The coffee shop across from Caldwell Innovations was a modest haven, its worn wooden tables and soft hum of conversation a stark contrast to the gleaming corporate tower Ethan had left behind. At 10 minutes to 6, he sat in a corner booth, his tailored suit replaced by dark jeans and a simple gray sweater, an attempt to bridge the chasm between his world and Maya's. His fingers tapped nervously on the table, his watch glinting in the dim light as he checked the time. 20 years had passed since he'd last seen her, yet the thought of her face, those deep brown eyes, that quiet strength, made his heart race as if he were 18 again, standing under the willow tree in Oakwood, promising to love her forever. The door chimed, and Maya entered. Her cleaning uniform swapped for faded jeans and a navy blue sweater that clung softly to her frame. Her hair, freed from its workday ponytail, fell in gentle waves past her shoulders. She scanned the room, her gaze landing on Ethan, and for a moment, she hesitated, as if weighing whether to stay or flee. Then, with a slight, resolute nod, she walked over and slid into the booth across from him. "Ethan said I wasn't sure you'd come," his voice softer than he intended. Maya's lips twitched, not quite a smile. "I wasn't sure either." She folded her hands on the table, her posture guarded but not hostile. Let's make this quick. I have an early shift tomorrow. A waitress approached, her notepad ready. Ethan ordered black coffee. Maya asked for cream and sugar, just as she had in high school when they'd shared late-night diner runs. The familiarity stung, a reminder of what they'd lost. As the waitress left, Ethan leaned forward, searching her face. You look good, Maya. I mean it. Please, she said, her voice quiet but firm. No small talk. Just say what you want to say. He nodded, respecting her directness. What happened to us, Maya? We had plans. We were going to wait for each other and write every day. I left for Stanford, and then... He trailed off, the memory of her silence cutting deep. Your letters stopped. I thought you'd moved on. Maya's eyes widened, a flicker of confusion crossing her face. My letters? Ethan, I wrote to you for months. You stopped writing after the first 3 letters. I thought you moved on. Her voice held an edge of old hurt, barely concealed. That's not true, Ethan said, his brow furrowing. I wrote every week, sometimes every day, for nearly a year. When you didn't reply, I assumed. He paused, the pieces not fitting. You never got them? She shook her head, her expression shifting from confusion to suspicion. No. I waited for them. Every day, I'd check the mailbox at home, hoping. Her voice cracked, and she looked away, her fingers tightening around the table's edge. My mother, she never liked you. She thought you were in trouble, and that you'd leave me behind once you got your scholarship. You believe she... The suggestion hung between them, heavy with implication. Ethan's mind raced back to Oakwood, to Maya's mother, a stern woman who'd always eyed him with distrust, as if his dreams were too big for her daughter's world. It's possible, he said slowly. She could have kept my letters, maybe to protect you, or to keep us apart. Maya's jaw tightened, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. She got sick right after you left. Cancer. The treatments drained everything, our savings, the house. I had to drop out of school to care for her. When she died 6 months later, I sold the house to pay the bills. There was nothing left for college, no money, no future. Her voice was steady, but the weight of those years was palpable. I worked whatever jobs I could, waitress, cashier, and cleaning. That's my life, Ethan. Not precisely the dreams we talked about under that willow tree. Ethan felt the ground shift beneath him. I didn't know, Maya. I swear. I returned to Oakwood after my first year. But your mother said you'd left, with no forwarding address. I tried to find you, but... He clenched his fists, guilt washing over him. If I'd known, I would have done something. Helped, sent money, anything. Would you have? Maya's tone was sharp, not accusing but probing. You were a scholarship kid, barely scraping by yourself. And then what? You'd swoop in and save me? I didn't need saving, Ethan. I needed... She paused, searching for the word. I needed you not to disappear. Her words hit like a blade. I thought you'd forgotten me, he said, his voice raw. When I didn't hear back, I threw myself into school, then work. Building Caldwell Innovations was all I had to keep going. But I never forgot you, Maya, not a single day. She looked at him, her eyes searching his face for truth. The wall she'd built seemed to crack for a moment, but she quickly rebuilt it. She said it doesn't matter now, though her voice lacked conviction. That was another lifetime. Tell me about your life now, Ethan urged gently. What happened after Oakwood? Maya sipped her coffee, the pause giving her time to compose herself. I bounced around small towns for a while, taking odd jobs. 10 years ago, I moved to New York to get better work, but it's expensive here. I take night classes when I can afford them, working toward a business degree. It's slow, 1 or 2 semester classes, but it's something. She shrugged, a gesture of resilience more than defeat. I never married, though I came close once about 5 years ago. He was a good guy, but it wasn't right. That's it. My story. Ethan absorbed her words, the weight of her struggles contrasting with his rise to wealth. And me? He asked, unable to stop himself. You see my face in magazines. The self-made billionaire story. She nodded, a faint smile touching her lips. Hard to miss. You're everywhere. Business articles, billboards. Quite the success. I got lucky, he said, deflecting. Right investments, right connections. But my personal life. He hesitated, then admitted. There's been no one like you, Maya. No one made me feel like I did back then. Don't, she whispered, her voice trembling. Don't say things like that. It's too late for that. Is it? Ethan leaned closer, his eyes intense. Seeing you today, it felt like the universe allowed us to fix what broke. Don't you want to know if it's real or just a memory? Maya's gaze softened, a flicker of the girl he'd loved shining through. But she stood abruptly, gathering her purse. I need to go. It's too much, too fast. Please, Ethan said, standing too. One dinner. To talk, to catch up. If you want nothing more after that, I'll respect it. She looked at him for a long moment, her expression torn between longing and fear. Fine, she said finally. One dinner. Thursday, same place, 7 o'clock. Relief surged through him. Thank you, Maya. I'll be here. She nodded, her eyes lingering on him, before she turned and walked out, the door chiming softly behind her. Ethan sat back down, his coffee untouched, his heart pounding. The past had collided with the present, and though the future was uncertain, he felt alive in a way he hadn't in years. Whatever had kept them apart, misunderstandings, meddling, or fate, he was determined to uncover the truth and fight for the connection that still burned between them. The coffee shop's warm glow spilled onto the sidewalk, a beacon in the early evening bustle of New York City. Ethan sat in the same corner booth as their last meeting, his fingers tracing the edge of a chipped mug, the black coffee inside, long gone cold. He'd traded his usual suit for a blue button-down shirt and jeans, hoping the casual attire would ease the tension he sensed Maya carried. The memory of their last conversation, her guarded words, the sting of her mother's possible betrayal, lingered, fueling his determination to bridge the gap between them. He glanced at his watch. 6:55 p.m. 5 minutes until she'd walk through that door. The chime above the entrance rang, and Maya appeared, her worn jeans and faded green sweater, a quiet rebellion against the city's polished veneer. Her hair, loose and framing her face, caught the light as she scanned the room. When her eyes met Ethan's, a flicker of warmth softened her expression, but she quickly masked it, striding to the booth with measured steps. She slid across from him, her posture straight, her hands folded tightly. You came, Ethan said, a smile breaking through his nerves. Maya's lips curved slightly. Said I would. Her voice was steady, but her eyes darted to the table, avoiding his gaze. Let's order. I'm starving. The waitress, a familiar face from their last visit, took their orders. Black coffee for Ethan, cream and sugar for Maya, plus a slice of apple pie to share. A nod to their high school ritual of splitting desserts at the Oakwood Diner. As the waitress left, silence settled, heavy with the weight of 20 years. Ethan leaned forward, searching for an opening. I've been thinking about what you said. About the letters. It's been eating at me, Maya. How we lost each other. Maya's fingers tightened around her mug. It's in the past, Ethan. No point digging it up. But her tone wavered, betraying the hurt beneath her words. It's not just the past, he pressed gently. It's why we're sitting here, trying to figure this out. I need to know what happened to you after I left. Not just the outline, the real story. She sighed, her shoulders relaxing slightly. After Mom died, I was alone. No family, no savings. I worked double shifts at a diner in Dayton, then moved from town to town, retail, cleaning, whatever paid the rent. 10 years ago, I came to New York, thinking it'd be a fresh start. But this city's expensive, and dreams don't come cheap. I've been taking night classes, chipping away at a business degree. It's slow, but it's mine. Her voice held pride, tempered by weariness. What about you? How'd you go from scholarship kid to this? She gestured vaguely, encompassing his wealth, his world. Ethan leaned back, his gaze distant. Stanford was tough. I was the small-town kid among Ivy League elites. I worked nights, coded in every spare moment. After graduation, I built a small app that took off, got some investors, and kept pushing. Caldwell Innovations just grew. But it wasn't all smooth. Early on, I made mistakes. Bad deals, lost partners. I got lucky with a few key investments. He paused, meeting her eyes. But I never stopped thinking about you. Every milestone, I wondered where you were. Maya's expression softened, but a shadow of doubt lingered. You say that, but you stopped writing. I waited, Ethan. Every day I'd check the mailbox, hoping for something. When nothing came, I thought you'd found someone else, someone who fit your new life. I wrote, he insisted, his voice raw. Every week for months, then every day when you didn't reply. I poured my heart into those letters, about school, my fears, how much I missed you. When they stopped returning, I thought you'd moved on, that I wasn't enough. He leaned closer, his eyes searching hers. Your mother, she never thought I was good enough for you. She'd give me that look, like I was stealing something. Do you think she hid them? Maya's breath caught, her fingers tracing the rim of her mug. She was protective. Thought you'd pull me into a world I couldn't handle, or that you'd leave me behind. When she got sick, I was so focused on her that I didn't question the mail. If she did hide them. Her voice broke, and she looked away, blinking rapidly. It changes things, but it doesn't erase the years. The pie arrived, a warm slice with a scoop of vanilla ice cream melting into the crust. Ethan pushed it toward her, a small peace offering. Remember how we'd fight over the last bite at the diner? He said, a grin tugging at his lips. Maya's eyes lit up, a genuine smile breaking through. You'd always let me win, but steal a bit when I wasn't looking. She took a small bite, the nostalgia softening her edges. Some things don't change. They ate in companionable silence, and the shared dessert was a bridge to simpler times. But as the plate emptied, the present pressed in. What do you want from this, Ethan? Maya asked, her voice direct. From us? We're not kids anymore. You're a CEO and I'm... She gestured at herself, encompassing her modest clothes and life. We're worlds apart. I don't care about that, Ethan said fiercely. Seeing you in that lobby was like the universe was giving us a second chance. I don't know what this is, but I know it's real. Don't you feel it too? Maya's gaze held his, a storm of emotions flickering in her eyes. Hope, fear, longing. I feel something, she admitted softly, But feelings don't erase reality. Your world, boardrooms, galas, power, it's not mine. People will talk, Ethan. They'll judge. Let them, he said, his voice steady. I built my life on my terms, not theirs. I want a chance to know you again, Maya. The woman you are now. She studied him, her expression torn. And if it doesn't work? If your world chews me up and spits me out? Then we face it together, he said. One dinner, Maya. Thursday. Somewhere low-key. No pressure, just us talking. If you want to walk away after, I'll respect it. The waitress cleared their plates, giving Maya a moment to think. She stood, slinging her purse over her shoulder. All right, one dinner. Thursday, 7, here. But don't expect miracles, Ethan. I'm not that girl from Oakwood anymore. He smiled, relief flooding through him. And I'm not that boy. Let's find out who we are now. Maya nodded, her eyes lingering on him for a heartbeat before she turned and left, the door chiming behind her. Ethan watched her go, the weight of her words settling in his chest. The past was a wound, the present a gamble, but he felt alive with possibility for the first time in years. Whatever lay ahead, he'd fight for it. For her. Maya stepped off the bus into the vibrant chaos of Brooklyn, the evening air thick with the scent of street food and the hum of neighbors chatting on stoops. Her modest apartment building, its paint peeling and windows smudged, stood in sharp contrast to the gleaming tower of Caldwell Innovations. As she climbed the creaky stairs to her third-floor walk-up, her mind churned with thoughts of Ethan, his earnest eyes, the way he'd looked at her in the coffee shop, promising a second chance, but doubt gnawed at her. Could they bridge the gap between their lives? She pushed open her door, the familiar sight of her sparse living room, second-hand couch, stack of business textbooks on a wobbly table, grounding her. Before heading to dinner with Ethan, Maya needed perspective. She grabbed her phone and texted Keisha, her best friend, and Jamal, her cousin, inviting herself over. Their apartment, a cozy haven in a nearby brownstone, was filled with the warmth of jazz music and the aroma of Keisha's homemade cornbread. Keisha, a hairdresser with a quick laugh, greeted Maya with a hug, her braids swinging as she pulled her inside. Jamal, a community college teacher with a thoughtful demeanor, was setting the table, his glasses perched on his nose. Girl, you look like you're carrying the world, Keisha said, eyeing Maya's tense expression. Spill. What's going on with this billionaire ex of yours? Maya sank into a chair, the weight of the day settling in. Ethan wants to try again. Dinner tonight, to talk. But I don't know, Keisha. His world, private elevators, fancy suits, it's not mine. People will stare, whisper. And not just about money. She hesitated, the unspoken weight of societal judgment heavy in the air. Jamal set down a pitcher of iced tea, his gaze steady. Do you mean because he's got that CEO polish, and you're out here grinding? Or something else? Maya nodded, her voice low. Both. He's not like me. People will see us together and make assumptions. I've dealt with judgment before, but this feels bigger. What if I don't belong up there? Keisha leaned forward, her eyes fierce. Listen, Maya, you've fought for everything you have. Night classes, long shifts, keeping your head up. You belong anywhere you choose to be. But men like Ethan, they live in a bubble. You step into it, you're gonna feel eyes on you, judging the gap between you two. Are you ready for that? Jamal sipped his tea, thoughtful. I get it. When I started teaching, folks questioned whether I belonged, too young or outspoken. But I stayed, proved them wrong. Maya, you remember my ex, Lena? I let her go. because our families didn't mix, and I thought it was too complicated. The biggest regret of my life. If Ethan's real, don't let fear stop you. But you gotta be sure he's worth the fight. Their words stirred something in Maya. Pride and a flicker of courage. Keisha reached across the table, squeezing her hand. You're not alone, Maya. Whatever you decide, we've got your back. Just don't let his world make you feel small. Bolstered, Maya left for the dinner, her heart a tangle of hope and caution. She met Ethan at Marco's, a small Italian restaurant tucked between a bookstore and a florist. Its checkered tablecloths and soft lighting a far cry from the upscale venues Ethan could afford. He stood as she approached, his jeans and blue shirt a deliberate choice to match her casual style. You look great, he said, his smile warm, disarming. Thanks, Maya replied, sliding into the booth. This place is unexpected, not your usual scene. Ethan grinned, a boyish spark in his eyes. I found it in my first year in the city, when I was broke and hungry. Marco, the owner, let me wash dishes when I couldn't pay. Best pasta in New York, but it's a neighborhood secret. He leaned forward. I wanted somewhere real, like us. The sincerity in his voice eased her nerves. They ordered ravioli for her and spaghetti for him, and as they waited, Ethan shared a story of his early days, coding in a cramped apartment, scraping by on coffee and grit. He said I wasn't always this, gesturing vaguely to his polished demeanor. I was just a kid from Oakwood, dreaming big like you. Maya raised an eyebrow, a half smile forming. Please don't compare us, Ethan. I'm still scraping by. Night classes and rent are due next week, but they're different. I know, he said quickly. I didn't mean it like that. I admire you. You're still fighting for your dreams, no matter what life throws at you. She studied him, the compliment landing softly. You always knew how to say the right thing, she said, her tone teasing but warm. Remember when you convinced Mr. Larson to let us skip detention by promising to clean the science lab? Ethan laughed, the sound rich and unguarded. And we spent the whole time sneaking gummy worms instead of cleaning. You got us caught when you dropped one in his coffee mug. Maya's laughter joined his, the memory a bridge across the years. For a moment, they were just Maya and Ethan, not a cleaner and a CEO. But as the food arrived, reality crept back. Why now, Ethan? She asked, her voice quieter. Why chase this after all these years? He set down his fork, his eyes steady. Because seeing you in that lobby was like waking up. I've built a lot, Maya, but it's empty without someone who knows me. The real me, not the magazine cover. I don't know if we can be what we were, but I want to discover who we could be. Maya's heart thudded, his words stirring the hope she'd tried to bury, but Keisha's warning echoed, eyes judging the gap between them. And if it's too hard? She asked. You're bored, your investors. They won't like me in your world. People talk, Ethan. They always do. Then let them talk, he said firmly. I built Caldwell Innovations to live life on my terms. I want you in it, Maya, if you'll have me. She looked at him, the boy from Oakwood still visible in his earnest gaze. One step at a time, she said finally. Let's see where this dinner takes us. As they ate, the conversation flowed. Stories of high school pranks, dreams they'd once shared. Maya felt herself relaxing, and the warmth of the restaurant and Ethan's presence eased her guard. But beneath it, a question lingered. Could their connection survive the weight of their different worlds? Ethan's hand brushed hers as they parted outside, a fleeting touch that sent a spark through her. Thursday again? He asked, hopeful. She nodded, a small smile breaking through. Maybe. I'll let you know. Walking home, Maya felt lighter, but Keisha's and Jamal's voices stayed with her. She wasn't alone, but the path ahead with Ethan was uncharted, fraught with judgment she knew too well. Still, she felt a flicker of possibility for the first time in years, a chance to reclaim something she'd thought lost forever. The morning after their dinner at Marco's, Ethan strode into the sleek headquarters of Caldwell Innovations, his mind still buzzing with Maya's laughter, the way her eyes had softened over shared stories. The memory of her tentative smile fueled a resolve he hadn't felt in years. But as he crossed the polished lobby, his assistant, Claire, intercepted him, her tablet clutched tightly. "Mr. Caldwell, there's an issue with the cleaning contract. Operations reassigned Budget Commercial's crew to another site, effective next week. The new team starts Monday." Ethan stopped, his brow furrowing. "Reassigned? Who authorized that?" "Operations," Claire said, her voice hesitant. "Your brother, Nathan, signed off, said it was a cost-saving measure." A knot formed in Ethan's stomach. Nathan, his younger brother, and the company's chief operating officer, had always been pragmatic, but this felt personal. Maya's face flashed in his mind, her scrubbing the floors of his empire, now pushed out without warning. "Get Nathan in my office. Now," Ethan said, his tone clipped. Claire nodded, already typing. "Right away, sir." Ethan's office, a glass-walled sanctuary on the top floor, offered a panoramic view of New York's skyline, but today it felt stifling. He paced, replaying the moment he'd seen Maya in the lobby, her quiet dignity against the backdrop of his wealth. Nathan's decision wasn't just business. It was a move against her, against them. The door opened, and Nathan entered, his tailored suit as sharp as his calculating gaze. 2 years Ethan's junior, Nathan carried a chip on his shoulder, forged in their competitive childhood in Oakwood, where Ethan's scholarship had always outshone Nathan's quieter ambitions. "What's this about the cleaning contract?" Ethan demanded, skipping pleasantries. "Why reassign Maya's crew?" Nathan leaned back in his chair, unfazed. "Budget cuts, brother. Their performance was subpar, with complaints about disruptions. I found a cheaper vendor. It's standard procedure." His tone was smooth, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of defiance. "That's not true," Ethan said, leaning forward, hands on his desk. "I saw Maya's work. It's meticulous. This is about her. You saw us talking in the lobby." Nathan's lips twitched, a half-smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You're the CEO, Ethan, but you're not untouchable. Fraternizing with a cleaner? It's a bad look. The board and investors expect you to maintain a specific image. She's a liability." Ethan's jaw tightened. "She's not a liability. She's Maya, someone I care about. You had no right to interfere." Nathan stood, matching Ethan's intensity. "I'm protecting this company. You built it, but I've kept it running. Every deal, every cost-saving measure. You're distracted, chasing some high school nostalgia while I'm keeping our stock price steady. You think the board won't notice you mooning over a janitor?" The word stung, and Ethan's voice dropped, dangerously quiet. "Her name is Maya Johnson, and she's worth more than your spreadsheets. Reinstate her crew, Nathan. Today." Nathan's eyes narrowed, but he nodded. "Fine. But don't cry to me when the gossip starts. You're risking more than you know." He paused, his voice softening, a rare glimpse of vulnerability. "I've seen what happens when you mix personal and business, Ethan. My engagement fell apart because I chose the company over love. Don't make the same mistake." Ethan stared, caught off guard by Nathan's admission. Their childhood rivalry had always masked Nathan's deeper insecurities, his need to prove himself in Ethan's shadow. "This isn't about you. Ethan said firmly. It's about Maya, and I'm not letting her go again. Nathan left without another word, leaving Ethan to grapple with his brother's motives. Was it just about the image, or was Nathan hiding something? Determined to make things right, Ethan called Claire. Find out where Maya lives. I need to see her. By evening, Ethan stood outside Maya's apartment building, a run-down structure in a struggling Brooklyn neighborhood. The contrast to his Central Park penthouse was stark, a reminder of the worlds between them. He knocked on her door, nerves twisting in his gut. Maya opened it, her hair pulled back in a messy bun, and a textbook was on the table behind her. Surprise flashed across her face. Ethan? How'd you find me? Claire, he said. Can I come in? She hesitated, then stepped aside. The apartment was small but neat, with a worn couch, a stack of business textbooks, and a laptop glowing faintly. What's this about? She asked, crossing her arms. Ethan took a breath. Your crew was reassigned to another site. Nathan's call, not mine. I fixed it. You're staying at Caldwell Innovations. Maya's eyes narrowed. Your brother did that? Because of me? Ethan admitted that he thinks it's bad for the company's image. You and me, talking. He's wrong, Maya. I don't care what he or anyone thinks. Her expression hardened. So, I'm an embarrassment now? The cleaner who's too close to the CEO? No, Ethan said fiercely, stepping closer. You're not an embarrassment. You're the woman who's always believed in me, who still does, even after everything. I'm not letting Nathan or anyone push you out. Maya studied him, her defenses softening, but not gone. You can't fight all my battles, Ethan. I've been handling my own for years. I know, he said, his voice gentler. But this one's mine too. I want you in my life, Maya, not just my building. Let me help, not by fixing things, but by being here for you. She looked away, her fingers tracing the edge of a textbook. This is a lot, Ethan. I need to know you mean it, not just some guilt trip over the past. I mean it, he said, his eyes locked on hers. Dinner on Thursday wasn't enough. I want more and more talks and more time to get to know you now. Will you give me that? Maya's gaze met his, a storm of emotions flickering. Hope, fear, resolve. Okay, she said finally. But slow, Ethan. I'm not jumping into your world blind. He nodded, relief flooding through him. Slow. I can do that. How about another dinner? Somewhere you pick this time. A small smile tugged at her lips. There's a diner near here. Nothing fancy, but the fries are killer. Saturday, 7? Perfect, he said, his heart lighter. As he left, the city lights twinkling beyond her cracked window, Ethan felt hope. Nathan's interference was a warning, but Maya's willingness to try was a promise he'd fight to keep, no matter the cost. Maya stood before her bathroom mirror, smoothing the navy blazer she'd bought second-hand for her interview at Caldwell Innovations. The fabric was slightly worn at the cuffs, but it gave her a professional edge, a step up from the cleaning uniform she'd worn weeks ago. Ethan's reappearance had sparked something in her, a quiet fire to reclaim the dreams she'd buried after her mother's death. Her night classes in business had taught her she could do more than scrub floors, and now, with a chance to prove it, she felt a mix of nerves and determination. She applied a touch of lipstick, grabbed her worn purse, and headed out, her heart pounding with possibility. At Caldwell Innovations, the third-floor customer service department buzzed with activity, phones ringing, keyboards clacking. Maya's interview was with Sandra Morales, a no-nonsense manager known for her sharp eye and fair judgment. Sandra's office was a small, tidy space, lined with awards and photos of her family. Ms. Johnson, Sandra began, reviewing Maya's resume. Your application is unconventional. Night classes and cleaning experience are not the usual path to customer service. Why this role? Maya met her gaze, steady. I've spent years working hard, solving problems on the fly, whether it's calming an upset customer at a diner or managing a cleaning crew under pressure. My classes have given me the theory. My life has given me the practice. I know how to connect with people and am ready to learn the rest. Sandra's lips twitched, a hint of approval. You've got grit. I'll give you that. This job's demanding. Clients can be tough, systems complex. Can you handle it? I've handled tougher, Maya said, her voice firm. I don't shy away from a challenge. An hour later, Sandra offered her the job, entry-level, modest pay, but a chance to use her mind, not just her hands. Maya accepted, her chest swelling with pride. As she left the office, she saw Ethan in the lobby, his suit crisp as he spoke with a colleague. Their eyes met briefly, and he gave her a subtle nod, a silent acknowledgement of her victory. She smiled back, determined to earn this on her own. Her first week was a whirlwind of training, learning databases, memorizing protocols, and handling client calls. Her team, a mix of seasoned reps and new hires, was welcoming, but whispers followed her. She's the one the CEO was talking to, one colleague murmured, eyeing Maya's desk. The gossip stung, but she pushed it aside, focusing on her work. By Wednesday, though, challenges emerged. Her computer lagged, freezing mid-call, and her access to a key database was inexplicably revoked. She overheard a coworker mention orders from upstairs, and suspicions settled in her gut. Nathan. At lunch, Maya confided in her team leader, Mark Rivera, a soft-spoken man who navigated his corporate world battles. They sat in the cafeteria, away from prying ears. My system's acting up, Maya said, keeping her voice low. And my database access? Gone. This isn't random. Mark sighed, glancing around. I've seen this before. Someone high up, probably Nathan Caldwell, wants to make things tough. I dealt with similar when I started. Folks didn't think I belonged. They thought I got here through favors. You keep your head down, do the work, and they'll see you're legit. Maya nodded, her jaw tight. I'm not here because of Ethan. I earned this. I know, Mark said, his eyes kind. You're good, Maya. For clients like you, I heard one praise your patience yesterday. Just keep going. You've got allies here. Bolstered, Maya returned to her desk, tackling a tricky client call despite the glitchy computer. She stayed late, teaching herself workarounds, refusing to let Nathan's tactics break her. By Friday, she'd resolved 3 client issues, earning a nod from Sandra. Keep that up, Johnson, Sandra said, passing her desk. You're proving yourself. That evening, Maya texted Ethan, asking to meet at the diner she'd mentioned. The neon sign of Joe's Diner glowed in the dusk, its vinyl booths and jukebox a slice of comfort in the city's chaos. Ethan arrived in jeans, his easy smile softening the weight of her week. They ordered fries and milkshakes, the familiarity easing her tension. You got the job, he said, his voice warm. I knew you would. Maya dipped a fry in ketchup, her eyes meeting his. Sandra's tough, but fair. I'm learning fast, but it's not all smooth. My computer's acting up, and I have access issues. It's like someone's trying to trip me up. Ethan's smile faded, his hand pausing mid-reach for a fry. Nathan. I'll talk to him. No, Maya cut in, her voice firm. I need to handle this myself. If you step in, it'll prove his point, that I'm only here because of you. I'm not that woman, Ethan. He nodded, respect in his eyes. I get it. You're stronger than anyone I know. But if it gets worse, you tell me, okay? I won't interfere unless you ask. She studied him, the sincerity in his gaze melting her defenses. Deal. But tell me something. Why do you care so much? Why fight your brother for this, for us? Ethan leaned forward, his voice low. Because you're not just my past, Maya. You're the one person who saw me before all this, the kid with big dreams and no money. Seeing you again, it's like finding a piece of myself I thought I'd lost. I don't know where this goes, but I want to find out. Together. Her heart thudded, his words stirring the hope she'd tried to temper. It's not easy, Ethan. People are already talking about us, about me. It's only going to get harder. Then we face it, he said. You and me, one step at a time. They shared the milkshake, the straws brushing as they laughed over a memory of sneaking fries at the Oakwood Fair. For a moment, the diner felt like home, a refuge from the corporate games and societal whispers. Ethan's hand lingered on hers as they parted, a silent promise. Saturday again? He asked. Maya smiled, her resolve strengthening. Yeah, let's keep this going. Walking home, she felt a surge of defiance. Nathan could throw obstacles her way, but she'd faced worse. Years of scraping by, of proving her worth. She wasn't just fighting for a job now. She was fighting for herself, and maybe, just maybe, for a future with Ethan. Maya stood in Keisha's Brooklyn apartment, the hum of a sewing machine filling the air as her friend pinned the hem of a deep emerald dress. The fabric, a gift from Ethan, shimmered under the lamplight. Elegant, yet understated. A perfect balance for the charity gala at Caldwell Innovations. Keisha, her nimble fingers adjusting the darts, glanced up with a grin. Girl, you're gonna turn heads tonight. This dress screams power, not plaything. Maya smoothed the fabric, nerves fluttering. I hope so. Ethan says this gala will shut down the gossip, but I'm not sure I'm ready for all those eyes. Keisha set down her pins, her expression serious. You're not just walking in there as his date, Maya. You're showing them you belong. Don't let those corporate types make you feel less. Nodding, Maya drew strength from Keisha's words. The gala was Ethan's idea, a public appearance to address the whispers about their connection head-on, stripping Nathan of his leverage. But the thought of stepping into Ethan's world, with its wealth and scrutiny, made her stomach twist. She thanked Keisha, slipped into her coat, and headed out, the dress carefully packed in a garment bag. At the Waldorf Astoria, the gala venue glowed with opulence, crystal chandeliers, velvet drapes, and a string quartet weaving soft melodies. Ethan waited at the entrance, his tailored tuxedo accentuating his broad shoulders, his eyes lighting up as Maya approached. You look stunning, he said, his voice warm with admiration. Keisha's a genius. Maya smiled, adjusting the dress's neckline. She is. You sure about this, Ethan? Cameras, questions? It's a lot. He took her hand, his touch steadying her. We're not hiding, Maya. We face this together. Show them there's no scandal. Just us. You ready? She took a deep breath, nodding. Let's do this. They stepped onto the red carpet, cameras flashing as photographers called Ethan's name. Mr. Caldwell. Whose date? One shouted. Lens trained on them. Ethan's arm rested lightly on Maya's back. Maya Johnson is a valued customer service team member and a longtime friend. His tone was calm, professional, diffusing speculation with honesty. The photographer blinked, disappointed by the straightforward answer, and moved on. Maya felt a rush of relief, but the weight of curious stares followed them inside. The ballroom was elegant. Executives in designer suits, women in glittering gowns. Maya held her head high, Keisha's words echoing, "You belong anywhere you are." Ethan guided her through the crowd, introducing her with the same clear explanation. A friend, a colleague. Most nodded politely, though some eyes lingered, assessing the woman at the CEO's side. They paused to speak with a client, a tech mogul named Howard, when Nathan approached, a stunning blonde on his arm. His smile was practiced, but his gaze was sharp. "Brother, Miss Johnson." Quite the surprise. "No surprise," Ethan said evenly. "I told you Maya was joining me." Nathan introduced his companion. "Victoria Lancaster is a fashion influencer. Victoria, this is my brother and his friend, Maya." Victoria's smile was incredible, her eyes flicking over Maya's dress. "Charmed," she said, her tone dripping with disinterest, before scanning the room for better prospects. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he kept his composure. "Howard, Maya's been a game changer in customer service. She's got a knack for solving problems." Howard nodded, impressed. "That's rare. We need more like you, Miss Johnson." Before Maya could respond, Victoria leaned toward her, her voice low. "So, you're the one James mentioned." The cleaner turned +1. Bold move. Maya's smile didn't waver. "Former cleaner, current professional. And you're what exactly besides Nathan's arm candy?" Victoria's mouth opened, stunned, as Ethan stifled a laugh. Nathan's eyes narrowed, but he turned to Howard, steering the conversation to business. "The Tokyo office is exceeding projections, Howard. Let's discuss." As they moved away, Ethan whispered, "That was perfect. Substance over style." Maya's cheeks warmed, but she felt a surge of confidence. "Too much?" "Not at all," he said, his eyes dancing. "You're holding your own, just like I knew you would." The band started a slow waltz, and Ethan led Maya to the dance floor. "Fair warning," she said, her hand resting lightly on his shoulder. "I haven't danced since high school." "Just follow me," he murmured, guiding her with ease. Their bodies found a rhythm, the music pulling them closer. Maya remembered their prom, Ethan's gentle lead through clumsy steps, his laughter when she'd tripped on her dress. His touch felt familiar and new, stirring a warmth she'd thought long buried. Ethan said, "This isn't how I pictured us reconnecting," his voice low. "Ballrooms, photographers, not exactly Oakwood." Maya looked up, her eyes meeting his. "What did you picture?" "Something simpler," he admitted. "Just us, talking, laughing, like we used to. No complications, no brothers meddling." She smiled softly. "Life's never that simple, Ethan. But this?" She glanced around, then back at him. "It's not so bad." His grip tightened slightly, his gaze intense. "It's better than I ever dreamed, Maya. Being here with you, it feels right." Her heart skipped, the sincerity in his voice chipping away at her walls. For a moment, the crowd, the cameras, and Nathan's calculating stare from across the room faded. It was just them, moving together, a promise of something more. But as the song ended, Maya caught Nathan watching, his expression unreadable, a phone pressed to his ear. A chill ran through her. Whatever he was planning, this night had only raised the stakes. As they stepped off the dance floor, Ethan squeezed her hand. "One more round of mingling, then we can escape. Deal?" "Deal," Maya said, her resolve firm. She'd faced the spotlight and held her ground. Whatever Nathan threw at them next, she'd be ready for herself, and the connection growing stronger with every step. The ballroom of the Waldorf Astoria pulsed with elegance, the string quartet's melodies weaving through the clink of champagne glasses and murmured conversations. Maya stood close to Ethan, her emerald dress catching the light as they moved through the crowd, her confidence buoyed by their dance. His hand brushed hers, a quiet anchor amidst the gala's opulence. They were speaking with a client, a silver-haired venture capitalist named Elaine, when a commotion near the entrance shattered the refined atmosphere. Heads turned as a man's voice, loud and unsteady, cut through the music. "Where's Ethan Caldwell? I want him now!" Maya tensed, eyes darting to Ethan, whose face tightened with recognition. The man, disheveled in a rumpled suit, pushed past security guards, his steps unsteady from alcohol or anger. "Michael?" Ethan murmured, his voice low, before stepping forward. "Stay here," he told Maya, his tone calm but firm, as he moved toward the disturbance. The man, Michael Davis, stood in the center of the ballroom, his eyes wild. "There you are, Caldwell!" he shouted, drawing gasps from the crowd. "The great CEO is stealing dreams to build his empire." His words slurred slightly, but the venom was sharp, silencing the quartet. Ethan raised a hand, signaling the guards to hold back. "Michael, you're drunk," he said quietly, his voice steady despite the eyes on him. "This isn't the place. Let's talk outside." "Outside?" Michael laughed bitterly, swaying. "So you can hide what you did? You took my company, Caldwell. My life's work. Gone. My wife left me because I couldn't provide anymore. You call that leadership?" Maya moved closer, concerned that Ethan was overriding his instruction. The crowd murmured, their curiosity a palpable weight. Nathan appeared beside Ethan, his expression cool. "Security. Handle this," he said, gesturing sharply. "No," Ethan countered, his voice firm. "I'll deal with it." He turned to Michael, his eyes steady. "Your company, Tech Vision, was failing, Michael. You were 3 months from bankruptcy when we acquired it. I saved over 100 jobs and offered you a consultancy role. You refused." "Refused?" Michael spat, his voice rising. "You offered me scraps in my own company. You're no savior, a predator in a fancy suit, building your empire on my ruins." Maya's heart sank, the accusation echoing her doubts about Ethan's world. Was this the cost of his success? She watched him, searching for the boy from Oakwood, who'd shared her dreams, not crushed others. Ethan's face paled, but he held his ground. "I'm sorry you feel that way, Michael. I made tough calls, but I never meant to destroy you. Let's talk privately and get you some help." Michael lunged forward, but security grabbed his arms, pulling him back as he shouted, "You'll pay, Caldwell! Everyone will know the truth." The guards escorted him out, his voice fading into the night. The ballroom fell silent, the tension thick, until Nathan stepped forward, his smile practiced. "Please, enjoy the evening. A misunderstanding, nothing more. The bar's open, and all proceeds support children's literacy." Awkward laughter rippled through the crowd, and conversations resumed. But Maya saw the strain in Ethan's eyes as he returned to her. "Are you okay?" she asked, her voice soft. "Not really," he admitted, running a hand through his hair. "I'm sorry you saw that. Let's get some air." They slipped through French doors to a quiet terrace, the city lights twinkling below. The cool night air was a relief, but Maya's mind raced. Who was he, Ethan? Was he telling the truth? Ethan leaned against the railing, his gaze distant. Michael Davis. His company, Tech Vision, was innovative but mismanaged, debts piling up, investors pulling out. "We acquired it last year and got a good deal because they were desperate. We restructured and saved most of the jobs, but some were lost." Michael. He couldn't accept the failure, needed someone to blame. Maya studied him, her heart torn. "Did you destroy him to build yourself up, like he said?" Pain flashed across Ethan's face. "Is that what you think of me?" He took a breath, his voice steadying. "Business can be ruthless, Maya. I won't lie. We saw an opportunity, and we took it. But I didn't target Michael. His company was collapsing before we stepped in. I offered him a role because he's brilliant at product design, but he wouldn't take it. Pride, maybe, or pain. Maya nodded slowly, her struggles surfacing. I get it, Ethan. I know what it's like to watch dreams slip away, to feel like the world's against you. It's easy to point fingers when you're hurting. He turned to her, his eyes searching. Do you believe me? That I didn't mean to hurt him? She hesitated, then nodded. I do. But it makes me wonder about your world. How many others got caught in the gears of your success? Ethan's shoulders sagged, the weight of her words heavy. Too many, probably. I've been so focused on building, I didn't always see the cost. But I'm trying to do better, Maya, because of you. Her breath caught, his sincerity piercing her doubts. She stepped closer, drawn by the vulnerability in his eyes. You're not what I expected, she said softly. Not the untouchable CEO. He smiled faintly. Good. I don't want to be that to you. He reached for her hand, his touch warm. I want to be Ethan, the guy who loved you in Oakwood and is trying to figure this out with you. Maya's heart raced, the terrace a cocoon shielding them from the gala's noise. She leaned in, her lips brushing his in a gentle, tentative kiss. He responded, his hand cupping her face, the years melting away in the warmth of their connection. When they parted, his eyes shone with emotion. I've wanted that since I saw you again, he whispered. Me too, she admitted, a smile breaking through. But we've got a lot to figure out. As they stood together, the city sprawling below, Nathan watched from the shadows, his phone glowing as he typed a message. His expression was cold, calculating. The gala had been a bold move, but he wasn't done. Whatever it took, he'd protect the company and his secrets from Maya's influence. The morning after the gala, Maya woke with Ethan's kiss lingering on her lips, a warmth that battled the chill of the city's dawn. Her tiny Brooklyn apartment felt smaller after the Waldorf's grandeur. The chipped paint and worn furniture a stark reminder of the gap between her world and Ethan's. She sat on her couch, the emerald dress draped over a chair, replaying the night, their dance, Michael's accusations, Nathan's cold stare. Her phone buzzed with a text from Ethan. Last night was everything. Dinner tonight? She hesitated, her heart torn between hope and the nagging fear that she didn't belong in his life. A knock at the door startled her. She opened it to find Victoria Lancaster, Nathan's gala date, standing in the shabby lobby, her designer coat out of place against the peeling walls. Victoria's perfect features curved into a sympathetic smile, setting Maya's nerves on edge. Maya, good morning. May we talk? It's important. Suspicion tightened Maya's chest, but curiosity won out. 5 minutes, she said, stepping aside. Victoria perched on the couch, her gaze sweeping the sparse room with thinly veiled disdain. She pulled a folder from her handbag and slid it across the coffee table. You should see these for your good. Maya opened the folder, her breath catching. Photos of Ethan filled the pages, smiling at charity events, business dinners, galas, and his arm around different women, all polished and poised, with their elegance a sharp contrast to her modest life. What's this supposed to prove? Maya asked, her voice steady despite the unease curling in her stomach. Reality, Victoria said, her tone soft but pointed. Ethan has a type, women who fit his world, who elevate his image. I've dated men like him. They chase someone like you for the thrill, the ego boost of playing savior, but they always return to their kind. You'll never truly belong, Maya. The words hit like a slap, echoing Maya's deepest fears. If Nathan sent you to scare me off, You're wasting your time, she said, closing the folder. Victoria's eyebrows rose. Nathan? No. This is woman to woman. I've seen how this ends. Ethan will hurt you, not on purpose, but because his world demands someone to navigate it. You're a novelty, Maya. When it fades, you'll be left with nothing but heartbreak. Maya stood, her voice firm. Thanks for the concern, but you should go. Victoria rose, smoothing her coat. Keep the photos. When it ends, and it will, remember I warned you. She left, her heels clicking down the hall, leaving Maya clutching the folder, her resolve shaken. She wanted to toss it, but instead, she sat, staring at the images, each a dagger to her confidence. Had Ethan felt something for these women? Was she just another fleeting connection? Maya threw herself into her customer service role at work, but the photos haunted her. Her computer worked again, a sign Nathan had eased his sabotage after the gala, but the whispers from colleagues lingered, their glances heavy with curiosity. Around noon, a message from Nathan's assistant summoned her to his office. Bracing herself, Maya rode the elevator to the executive floor, her heart pounding. Nathan's office was sleek, all glass and steel, mirroring his calculated demeanor. Ms. Johnson, please sit, Nathan said, his voice smooth as he gestured to a chair. Maya remained standing, her arms crossed. I'd rather stand, Mr. Caldwell. A faint smile touched his lips, as you wish. He opened a folder identical to Victoria's, but it contained financial charts, not photos. These projections for Caldwell Innovations over the next 5 years are steady growth, assuming no distractions. He flipped to a second chart, showing a sharp decline. This is what happens if Ethan's focus wavers. Your presence is a risk, Maya. To him, to the company. She held his gaze, unflinching. You're saying I'm a threat to your empire because Ethan cares about me? Nathan leaned back, his eyes cold. I'm stating a fact. Ethan's built something extraordinary, sacrificing relationships, time, and peace. I know sacrifice. Years ago, I ended an engagement because my fiancé didn't fit the image this company needed. It cost me, but it protected what we built. Ethan's too blinded by nostalgia to see the danger you pose. Maya's anger flared. Danger? Because I'm not one of your gala elites? I've earned my place here, same as anyone. Nathan's expression softened, almost pitying. Earned or not, you're an outsider. This world, boardrooms, investors, galas, requires a specific fit. When this romance fails, it will hurt Ethan, the company, and you. I'm offering you a way out, a severance package, enough to finish your degree, start fresh elsewhere, a clean break. He slid a check across his desk, the number staggering. Maya didn't touch it. Can I be bought? That I'd trade what I feel for Ethan for money? Everyone has a price, Nathan said coolly. Ethan's is his legacy. What's yours? Maya's hands clenched, her voice steady. My price is my dignity, and you can't afford it. She turned to leave, pausing at the door. You don't know Ethan as well as you think. Or me. Back at her desk, Maya's mind was a battlefield. Nathan's words, Victoria's photos, and her insecurities coalesced into a knot of doubt. Was she fooling herself, believing she could fit into Ethan's world? She texted him, asking to meet at the coffee shop that evening, and her resolve wavered. At 7, she sat in their usual booth, the familiar hum of the shop grounding her. Ethan arrived, his face lighting up, but worry crept in as he saw her expression. What's wrong, Maya? She took a breath, her voice low. Nathan and Victoria. They came for me today. Photos of you with other women. A severance offer to leave. They say I don't belong in your world, that I'll ruin you. Ethan's jaw tightened, anger flashing in his eyes. Nathan's behind this? Those photos are of event escorts and PR setups. They meant nothing, Maya. You do. She looked down, her hands gripping her coffee mug. But what if they're right? Your life, galas, boardrooms, it's not mine. I'm fighting to belong at work. But with you, the stakes are higher. What if I'm a reminder of simpler times? Ethan reached for her hand, his touch warm. You're not a reminder. You're the only person who's ever seen me, not the CEO. I don't care about their world. I care about you. Tell me you feel this too. Tears pricked her eyes. I do, Ethan, but it's hard to trust it won't break us. She pulled her hand back. I need time to think, to be sure. His face fell, but he nodded. Take what you need. I'll wait, Maya. As she left, the city's lights blurred through her tears. Nathan's manipulation had sown doubt, but Ethan's words lingered, a beacon of hope she wasn't ready to let go. Maya sat cross-legged on her apartment floor, surrounded by dust-covered boxes she'd avoided unpacking since moving to Brooklyn. The photos from Victoria, still tucked in their folder, sat on the coffee table, a silent challenge to her trust in Ethan. Nathan's words echoed in her mind, her presence a risk to Ethan's legacy, stirring doubts that clung like damp air. A week had passed since their coffee shop meeting, and though Ethan's texts were gentle, offering space, the silence between them felt heavy. She needed clarity, not just about him, but about herself. The boxes, remnants of her life in Oakwood, held memories she'd buried after her mother's death. She'd been cleaning, seeking distraction, when she decided to face them. Opening a battered cardboard box, she found old photos. Her mother smiling at a church picnic, Maya in her prom dress, Ethan's arm around her. Beneath them, a yellowed envelope caught her eye, her name scrawled in Ethan's familiar handwriting. Her breath hitched. She tore it open, finding a letter dated months after he'd left for Stanford. Maya, I miss you every day. College is hard, but thinking of you keeps me going. Write back, please. Another envelope, then another, a dozen letters, unopened, hidden in her mother's things. Tears blurred her vision as she read, Ethan's words pouring out love, fear, and dreams of their future. Her mother had intercepted them, likely believing she was protecting Maya from a boy whose ambitions would pull him away. The betrayal stung, but it also freed something in her, a truth that their separation wasn't Ethan's choice, nor hers. She grabbed her phone, texting Keisha and Jamal. Found something big. Can I come over? At their brownstone, the warmth of jazz and the scent of Jamal's chili greeted her. Keisha, braiding a client's hair in the living room, took one look at Maya's tear-streaked face and sent the client home. What happened, girl? She asked, pulling Maya to the couch. Maya spilled everything, the letters, her mother's interference, Nathan's manipulation, her doubts about fitting into Ethan's world. She handed Keisha a letter, its edges worn. She hid them, Keisha. All those years, I thought he'd forgotten me. Jamal sat across them, his glasses fogging slightly from the chilly steam. Your mom thought she was doing right, Maya. She saw a world that chews up dreams like yours and wanted to shield you, but she was wrong to take that choice from you. Keisha nodded, her eyes fierce. You've been carrying that hurt, thinking Ethan walked away. Now you know he didn't. The question is, what do you do with it? Maya clutched the letters, her voice trembling. I want to believe in us, but Nathan, those photos make me feel like I'll never fit, like I'm chasing something that'll break me. Jamal leaned forward, his tone gentle but firm. When I started teaching, folks doubted me, thought I was too green, too bold, I faced whispers and barriers, but stayed because I knew my worth. You've got that same fire, Maya. You fought for everything. School, this job. Don't let fear stop you from fighting for him too. Keisha squeezed her hand. You're not alone in this. We've got you. But you gotta decide if Ethan's worth the risk. Not the CEO, the man. Maya's heart steadied, their words cutting through her fog of doubt. He is, she said softly. He sees me. Not just the past. But it's scary, stepping into his world. Scary's okay, Jamal said, a smile breaking through. My biggest regret was letting Lena go because I feared family drama. Please don't make my mistake, Maya. If he's real, fight for it. She nodded, the letters await in her lap, their truth abridged to Ethan. I need to see him. Tell him everything. Keisha grinned. That's my girl. Get your man. Back at her apartment, Maya texted Ethan. Can we meet? Coffee shop, 7 p.m. Found something you need to see. His reply was instant. I'll be there. You okay? She didn't answer. Her resolve firm but fragile. She tucked the letters into her bag, their weight a reminder of the years stolen and a chance to reclaim what they'd lost. The familiar hum of conversation and clink of mugs at the coffee shop grounded her. Ethan arrived early, his jeans and sweater contrasting with his usual polish, his eyes searching hers with concern. Maya, what's going on? He asked, sliding into the booth across from her. She pulled the letters from her bag, placing them on the table. I found these in my mom's things. Your letters, Ethan. She hid them, all of them. You didn't stop writing. I just never got them. Ethan's eyes widened, his fingers brushing the envelopes. He opened one, scanning the words he'd written 2 decades ago, his voice catching. I thought you'd moved on, that I wasn't enough. All this time. Maya said my mom thought she was protecting me, her voice soft. She didn't trust your world, thought it'd hurt me. Maybe she was right about some things, but not about you. He reached for her hand, his touch warm. I'm so sorry, Maya. If I'd known, I'd have fought harder to find you. She shook her head, a tear escaping. We both lost something, but we're here now. I've been scared, Ethan. Nathan, those photos, my doubts. But these letters, they show me you never gave up on us. I want to try, really try, for what we could be. His face lit up, hope softening the lines of worry. You mean it? Even with all the complications? My brother? The company? I mean it, she said, her voice steady. But it won't be easy. Your world's different, and people will judge. I need to know you're doing this with me. I am, he said fiercely, squeezing her hand. I've been waiting 20 years for this chance. Whatever comes, we face it together. They sat silently, the letters between them a testament to their resilience. Maya felt a weight lift. The past was no longer a barrier, but a foundation. As they left the coffee shop, Ethan's arm brushed hers, a quiet promise. The city buzzed around them, but for the first time, Maya felt ready to step forward, not as an outsider, but as a partner in a future they'd build together. Rain lashed against Maya's apartment window, the storm outside mirroring the turmoil within her. The discovery of Ethan's letters had lifted a veil, freeing her from years of doubt and igniting a resolve to fight for their connection. She'd spent the morning texting him, planning to meet, when her phone buzzed with a call from Keisha. Maya, please turn on the news, Keisha urged, her voice tense. Caldwell Innovations. It isn't good. Maya rushed to Keisha's apartment, where the television blared with a breaking story. A stern-faced reporter detailed allegations of fraud at Caldwell Innovations. accusing Nathan Caldwell of falsifying financial reports to hide losses and inflate the company's value to investors. Sources suggest CEO Ethan Caldwell may have been unaware, the reporter said, but questions remain about how such deception went unnoticed. The company's stock has plummeted, with analysts predicting potential bankruptcy. Maya's heart sank. Ethan, alone in this storm, facing the collapse of everything he'd built. She hesitantly grabbed her coat, ignoring Keisha's protests about the weather. "I have to go to him," she said, her voice firm. "He needs me. Not the CEO, the man." The trip to Ethan's penthouse was a battle against the downpour. Taxis were scarce, and the subway was sluggish. Soaked and shivering, Maya arrived at his building, and the doorman recognized her from her previous visit. "He's upstairs," he said, waving her through after a quick call. The elevator ride to the top floor felt endless, her mind racing. What if Ethan blamed her for distracting him? What if Nathan's schemes were tied to her presence? The doors opened into Ethan's darkened penthouse, the city lights muted by rain-streaked windows. He sat alone in the living room, a glass of whiskey untouched on the table, his face etched with devastation. He looked up as Maya entered, surprise flickering through his bleak expression. "Maya, what are you doing here?" She crossed the room, her wet shoes leaving faint marks on the hardwood. "I saw the news. I needed to know you're okay." He laughed bitterly, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "Okay? My brother's been defrauding investors for years. The company I poured my life into might not survive. Employees could lose their jobs. Okay is nowhere near this." Maya sat beside him, her damp clothes soaking into the leather couch. "I'm so sorry, Ethan." She hesitated, then asked, "How did this happen?" He sighed, his voice heavy. Nathan handled key accounts and insisted on managing audits himself. "I trusted him, my brother." All the signs were there, his push for aggressive expansions, his obsession with appearances. "I was too focused on growth, on us." He glanced at her, guilt in his eyes. Her heart twisted, Nathan's warnings about her being a distraction echoing. "Is that why he targeted me? To keep you from looking too closely?" Ethan nodded slowly. "It makes sense now. You made me question things, his decisions, the company's direction. He must have seen you as a threat to his cover." Maya took his hand, her fingers entwining with his. "You couldn't have known, Ethan. He hid this from everyone, not just you." "A CEO should know," he said bitterly. "I was supposed to protect my people, not let my brother tank everything." He looked at her, his eyes raw. "And you? I thought I'd lost you after you asked for time. When I saw you walk in, soaked from the rain." "Of course I came," she said, her voice soft but firm. "I care about you, Ethan. Not the company, not the penthouse. You. We're in this together now." His expression softened, a flicker of hope breaking through. "You mean that? Even with all this mess?" "I do," she said, squeezing his hand. "But we need a plan. You can't just sit here with whiskey and regrets. Your employees, they're scared. Talk to them. Be honest." "Ethan, I've been on the other side, wondering if my job's safe. They need to hear from you." He stared at her, her words cutting through his fog. "You're right. A town hall. Complete transparency. Show them I'm fighting for their jobs. But the board, the investigators, it's going to be brutal." "Then let me help," Maya said, her voice steady. "I'm learning business, remember? I can't fix your books, but can help you communicate and keep your team grounded. I know what it's like to feel disposable." Ethan's eyes lit up, a spark of his old fire returning. "You're incredible. You know that?" "Okay, let's do this. I'll call my legal team tonight and schedule a meeting with the board tomorrow. We'll face this head-on. She smiled, her resolve strengthening. And the letters. I found them because I was looking for answers. They showed me you never gave up on us. I'm not giving up now either. He pulled her close, his arms encircling her despite her wet clothes. I don't deserve you, Maya, he murmured, his voice thick with emotion. Probably not, she teased, a soft laugh escaping. But you've got me. They sat together, planning through the night, the rain a steady drumbeat outside. Maya suggested drafting a statement for employees, emphasizing honesty and commitment, drawing on her customer service experience to frame it. Ethan outlined steps to cooperate with investigators, his focus sharpening with her beside him. As dawn broke, the storm easing, they stood at his window, the city waking below. It's going to be a fight, Ethan said, his hand finding hers. It always is, Maya replied, her voice firm. But we're tougher. Unseen by them, a news ticker flashed on the muted TV. Nathan Caldwell reportedly fled the country, leaving brother Ethan to face fraud allegations. The battle was beginning, but with Maya's strength and shared resolve, Ethan felt ready to face it, not as a CEO, but as a man fighting for his future and hers. The spring air in Central Park carried the scent of blooming cherry blossoms, a soft contrast to the storm that had raged through Ethan's life a year ago. He walked beside Maya, their steps unhurried along a winding path. The city's hum, a distant backdrop. Caldwell Innovations had survived, but not unscathed. The scandal, Nathan's falsified reports, his flight from justice, had forced a painful reckoning. Ethan had spent months with investigators, untangling his brother's web of deceit, downsizing the company to save what remained. Yet, with Maya by his side, the losses felt less like defeat and more like a chance to rebuild something true. Now thriving in her customer service role, Maya had become a quiet force at the company. Her suggestion of a town hall during the crisis had steadied employees, and her push for diverse hiring had reshaped the team, bringing in voices like hers, gritty, determined, overlooked. She was close to finishing her business degree, taking more classes with the stability of her new job. Tonight, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Ethan felt a nervous anticipation. His hand brushed hers, a familiar comfort, but his pocket held a small box that made his heart race. They paused by a quiet pond, its surface reflecting the fading light. Ethan turned to her, his eyes soft. Maya, this park. It's where we've come to talk, to figure things out. It's been a hell of a year. She smiled, her hair catching the breeze. That's an understatement. Scandal, layoffs, your brother vanishing. But we made it through together. He nodded, his throat tight. I couldn't have done it without you. You pushed me to be honest with my team, to face the mess head on. You made me better, Maya, not just as a CEO, but as a man. Her eyes softened, but she teased. Don't get sappy on me, Ethan. You're still the guy who stole my fries at Joe's Diner. He laughed, the sound easing his nerves. Guilty. But I've learned a few things this year. I spent too long chasing success, thinking it'd fill the void you left. I was wrong. He took a breath, his gaze steady. I've been mentoring a new entrepreneur, someone like Michael Davis, helping him rebuild. It's made me see the gaps in my world, how my wins sometimes cost others. I want to do better for them and us. Maya's smile widened, pride in her eyes. That's the Ethan I always knew. Who cared? Not just about winning. I've changed too, pushing for diversity at work, finishing my degree, I'm finally claiming the life I thought I'd lost. He took her hands, his voice low. You've always been that woman, Maya. Strong, brilliant. I don't have as much to offer as I once did. The company's smaller. My name's taken a hit. But I have you, and that's everything. He knelt, pulling the small box from his pocket, revealing a simple silver ring, its modest diamond glinting. Maya Johnson, will you marry me? Not because of our past, but because I want our future together, no matter what. Her breath caught, tears welling as she looked from the ring to his face. Ethan. She paused, her voice trembling. I was scared we'd never make it. Your world, mine, all the noise. But you've shown me daily that you're in this with me. Yes, I'll marry you. He slid the ring onto her finger, his hands shaking, and stood, pulling her into a kiss. It was gentle at first, then deepening, a promise sealed under the park's blossoming canopy. When they parted, her eyes shone with joy. She said, people will still talk, half laughing, the CEO and the customer service rep. Let them, Ethan said, his arm around her. We've faced worse. They returned to Joe's diner, a tradition now, and celebrated with fries and milkshakes. The jukebox played a soft tune, and Maya leaned against him, the ring catching the neon light. New beginnings, she said, raising her glass. To us, Ethan echoed, clinking his against hers, and to prove them wrong. Across town, news reports speculated on Nathan's whereabouts, his betrayal a fading shadow. Caldwell Innovations was leaner but stronger, and its culture was shifting under Maya's influence. She'd become a mentor to new hires, her story inspiring others to rise. Humbled by the scandal, Ethan had found purpose beyond profit, and his mentorship program was a step toward amends. As they left the diner, hand in hand, the city stretched before them. Not a barrier, but a canvas for the life they'd build, rooted in love, resilience, and the courage to defy the odds.